In footage obtained by Patriot Takes, video shows Republican President Donald John Trump receiving a ball from his caddy on the green at his club, Trump National Bedminster. As the video is slowed down, we see how Trump conducts himself prior to a putt. Now, he easily could have asked the caddy for a ball so he could putt again and correct a mistake before they go on to the next hole. Or this is another instance of how, as the saying goes, if you're not cheating, you're not trying. Regardless, we have documented quite a history here of how Trump conducts himself on the golf course. Take a look. This video, taken the week prior, showcases how the man cheats in a more brazen example, captured on video for all to see. Secretly toss a ball behind his leg and back so Trump will have a better lie than where the workers are clearly headed for the ball that was the product of a terrible shot. For many of you who have followed this, you likely know the direction that we're going in based off of the reporting as it pertains to this subject.
Donald Trump hates to chip. He's a terrible chipper. Most guys hit a chip like this, right? What he did once and got caught was he put the ball in his hand, did like a fake air chip, and then he goes, "Oh my God, I think I made it." Runs up, "I made it." Usually you would put a mark down, pick up the ball. What he does, he secretly puts the marker on the end of the putter, and then he looks like he's marking it, but really, now the mark is 3 feet closer. That's a way easier putt to make.
Longtime sports journalist Rick Riley, who wrote the book Commander-in-Chief, broke down how Trump gets those glossy scores.
He cheats like a mafia accountant. Like he cheats crazy. He cheats whether you're watching or not. He cheats whether you like it or not. He tried to cheat Tiger Woods in a match, and Tiger hits it like this. He hits 2 balls in the water, doesn't count either, and pretends that he almost tied Tiger Woods. He said, "I'm a winner. You got to vote for me because I've won 18 club championships." He said this 3 or 4 times, and that's against the best players in the club. But I knew he was lying because he told me how he does it. Whenever he opens a new course that he buys, he plays the first round by himself and calls that the club championship. Trump says he's a 2.8, which is really, really good. To give you a little idea, Jack Nicklaus is a 3.5. Jack Nicklaus!
Yet he'll brag like this.
I just won 2 club championships, not even senior, 2 regular club championships. To do that, you have to be quite smart.
When we already know what tricks he has up his sleeves.
I was sitting here reading tweets. He's saying he'd won 18 club championships. And I'm like, you liar, because you told me how you did it when I played with you years ago. He said when he buys a new course, he plays the first round by himself and calls that the club championship. So I started calling around, and people said, "Oh yeah." So, well, one day he was at Trump Philly, and we played the club championship at Trump Bedminster, and he called in and said, "Hey, who won the championship?" And they said, "Oh, Joe Schmo shot 76." And Trump goes, "Well, I shot 73 up here at Trump Philly. Make me the champion." And the thing that bothers me is like, okay, golf, fine. But when he started campaigning on this as, "I'm a winner, I can close out. I've won 18 club championships, and that's against the best players." It bothered me because I don't know anything about politics. You guys know about politics, but I know about golf, and you don't get to do that. And about 10 of them were super seniors championships, which is not the club championship at all.
He'd tell the Ringer, there are so many ways Trump just throws up all over golf. It's hard for me to get mad about Trump refusing to remove his hat while shaking hands after a round. The writer of the piece would even conclude Riley's right to say Trump sees a golf course like he does the Oval Office. And even more, by the way, on the "I win club championships" line by the president, the Palm Beach Post would even write, just ask members of Trump International West Palm Beach who would arrive for the final round of their respective senior club championship on January the 22nd, only to find Donald John Trump's name at the top of the leaderboard. And here's the thing, he didn't even play the first round, but he did play a round earlier that week. And he would claim, And I want to emphasize this. He claimed he had a good day and decided to use that score for the first round of the Senior Club Championship. I think what gets many here is the fact that it is the easiest sport to cheat at, and he does it what seems to be at almost every single turn. And I think what's most effed up about this is that he's not a terrible golfer. He doesn't have to cheat. The problem is, it has been built into him from day one that he must win. However you get there, however many corners you cut, however many mulligans you take, you must win. And what was most embarrassing to me is not how he does it, although it is. Not how many times he does it, but that he actually cheated on the course when he played with Tiger Woods. Like Tiger Woods, of all people. He claims to love golf, yet he desecrates Jack Nicklaus by saying he has a better handicap than him. He won the club championship, which we know is a lie. There have been multiple reports on this, and as we discussed in this piece. And yet, Phil Mickelson, he says that he bested Phil Mickelson at his own course. However y'all feel about Phil Mickelson, he's still a professional golfer, not even on the senior tour. And you beat him? No, you didn't. So, I think what we've learned over the years as well is from the Rick Rileys and the Jeff Pearlmans, Riley writing about how Trump cheats at golf, Jeff Pearlman writing about how Trump cheats in business through the upstart United States Football League where he ran it into the ground. It is representative of the different methods that he puts forth in his personal life and his business life. And they are indicative of who this man is as a person. So as I'm watching this and listening to this and after reading these books, it just makes sense. It is a simple A to B. That, yeah, he is going to cheat on the golf course because he cheats at life. Yeah, he is going to run the economy into the ground. He's filed for bankruptcy 6 or 7 times at this point. Yeah, he doesn't really know what he's talking about with sports because he's shown it over and over again in the ways that he represented himself in the lawsuit that landed the United States Football League asking for billions, $1 in a settlement with the National Football League. I have no idea what I'm talking about. Check that clip out on demand. Recall this video of Beitar Jerusalem fans attacking a pair of Arab bus drivers. And chanting something that is sadly a constant. Chanting in the streets are fans of that club. Their lyrics translate to this, and I quote, "Death to Arabs." But where do they draw these inspirations from?
להגיד לכם רק שתי מילים. יאללה בית"ר. להגיד לכם רק שתי מילים. יאללה בית"ר.
It's actually in large part this guy and his ideologies.
Is one of the most successful and well-known football clubs in Israel. It has one of the largest fan bases in Israel, but part of the fans are also known to identify with the extreme far right of Israel.
One thing this team doesn't have and has never had is an Arab-Israeli player.
The reason Beitar never signed Arab is because they are racist. They hate Arabs. They cannot listen to people talking Arabic. They cannot even see Arabs.
As police dragged away a Palestinian woman, a group of youth shouted.
The club is linked to the Beitar movement, founded in 1936. Its fans, mostly right-wing nationalists, are renowned for their violent fanaticism and their anti-Arab slogans.
Yellow, black, for life. You see, this is the #1 club in all of Israel. We hate Hapoel, we hate Sachin, we hate the Arabs. But we're Jews, we live in Jerusalem, we're going to stay in Jerusalem. Jews, we live in Jerusalem, we're going to stay in Jerusalem.
On those drivers being attacked, the company Superbus released this statement saying, "The incidents join many other violent incidents that have occurred on a daily basis against bus drivers in Jerusalem. In videos from the violent incidents last night, the criminals are clearly visible, and we expect and call on all law enforcement bodies and the management of the club to bring the wall breakers to justice immediately." Layla Hamed printed, "Beitar is infamous for being the only football team in Israel who have never signed an Arabic player, and neither the government nor the IFA have ever taken the club to task on equal opportunity grounds." Citing racist abuse, one player of Nigerian descent would leave after signing in 2005, and he would move away from the town as well. Furthermore, the club has historic political ties to the ruling right-wing Likud party. During the wave of anti-regime protests that began in 2020, fans of the club aligned themselves with Benjamin Netanyahu's regime in Tel Aviv and took to the streets to assault both journalists and protesters. And don't get me wrong, there are other examples as well. In 2007, fans of the club would boo a pregame moment of silence that marked the 12-year anniversary of Rabin's assassination. The supporters sang songs praising his killer, a right-wing extremist. Then in 2015, a group of its fans were seen chanting slogans praising former PM Yitzhak Rabin's assassin during a game. 3 years before that, Arab employees at a shopping center in Jerusalem were beaten by fans of the club. Not even a year after, the fans protested 2 signings by the club, with the players being Chechen, by lighting the team's offices on fire. They also held up anti-Muslim banners, and some fanatics even camped outside the house of club director Itzik Kornfein and sang about R-wording his daughter. 2 fans burned down Beitar's museum, which held a ton of historical pieces. Those 2 players, by the way, after a season full of hate, went to the airport after the final match and got out of town. Dr. Baruch Goldstein was glorified by La Familia over and over again. He massacred 23 Muslim worshippers in Hebron in 1994. was Miri Regev, Israel Culture and Sports Minister, doing PR for Beitar fans. She is a member of, you guessed it, the Likud party. So who is at fault? It's the IFA. It's the Israel Football Association, because they have done nothing to check the damage that has been done over time. There should have been sanctions a long time ago. And as we have learned over and over again, if you do nothing and if you say nothing and you don't punish, for example, clubs like this, then you are complicit. You are tacitly allowing this sort of stuff. And you're seeing the results. You're seeing it firsthand in this piece. Via Leila Hamed once more. FIFA's expulsion of the South African Football Association in the 70s provides a clear precedent for similar action to be taken against the IFA. However, the world's football governing body has delayed making a decision. By allowing this country to continue to participate in international competitions with no restrictions, FIFA is tacitly accepting its political message and implicitly recognizing its criminal policy.
What has sports meant to you? And did you have a sports hero growing up?
Maybe Lawrence Taylor. I don't know. It could be Lawrence, or I know him so well.
Epstein's friend really knocked this one out of the park. At this point, he's making it way too easy on us.
Breaking news right here on MSNBC about the man on your screen. The Hall of Fame New York Giants linebacker Lawrence Taylor has been arrested. We have now learned that he was arrested on rape charges. In fact, it happened here in New York State. It happened in Ramapo only a short time ago. He's being accused of raping someone in the Holodome Hotel that is in Montebello, New York. Lawrence Taylor is 51 years old. He was affectionately known to fans for years as LT, and he has had past problems with the law. He acknowledged for years his use of drugs.
In his 12 years in the NFL, Lawrence Taylor went to the Pro Bowl 10 times. He became one of 2 defensive players all time to win the league's Most Valuable Player award, and many analysts will tell you he was the best ever to play the game. Today, Lawrence Taylor left a courtroom after pleading guilty to having sex with an underage prostitute. He's now a registered sex offender, will spend 6 years on probation, but he won't spend any time in jail. Today, you pleaded guilty to having sex with an underage woman. She was 16. She claims you should have known it. How did it happen that you solicited her services through someone? Tell me about how that went.
Well, it happens sometimes, you know.
Tell me how it happened that day.
Okay.
Guys, as they say, where there's smoke, there's fire. Okay?
Well, a lot of sports heroes. It meant a lot. I was always a person that loved playing sports. I was good at sports. When you were really focused on sports, you thought about nothing else. There was nothing else outside. It kept you, and to an extent, this is one of the reasons I like golf. You get away for a couple of hours. I play quickly and get through it. And for 2 hours, you're not thinking about all of the nonsense and all of the important things, frankly, but it cleans your mind.
A lot to take in here. First, was Donald Trump even a good athlete? Whether he has convinced himself he was or not, the Republican president of the United States would tweet that he was said to be the best b-ball player in New York State. Ask Ted DeBias said best he ever coached. Through publicly available information, here is what was discovered. In 3 games during his sophomore season, Trump went 0 for 10 in baseball. That means he batted triple zeros. As a junior, he went 2 for 9 with a .222 average, wrote Football Archaeology on Substack. Scouring newspaper archives during POTUS's senior year, they found he only had about 21 to 22 at-bats. The amount of hits, just one hit in 7 games. 1 hit in 21 to 22 at-bats. Keith Law, members of the Baseball Writers Association of America and former executive with the Toronto Blue Jays, would tell the outlet NJ.com, you don't hit 138 for some podunk cold weather high school playing the worst competition you could possibly imagine. You wouldn't even get recruited for Division I baseball programs, let alone by pro teams. That's totally unthinkable. It's absolutely laughable. He hit 138. He couldn't effing hit. That's pretty clear. Then from a football perspective.
Well, they're saying the old school style of football
They're saying it's dangerous because the hitting is pretty fierce when you're running that far, right? You're running into
it. Right. So they're basically lining guys up 5 yards apart.
Yeah, but somehow it's supposed to be football. And I played football too. I didn't particularly like it.
What position were you?
No, I didn't like it. I played tight end.
Yeah?
Could catch the ball good, but I didn't particularly like having some guy that was lifting weights all day long and came from a bad neighborhood.
Yeah.
And he sees me and they were tackling hard, and I had a quarterback with that much of an arm, to throw the ball. It wasn't like, but this wasn't high quality football, but I didn't like it too much.
The man who called the game soft said there are too many penalties, the hits are too hard and clean, and guys just need to really grow a pair. Admits he was soft. He even said in another interview with CBS that he does not want Barron Trump to play football. I mean, it's incredible. Jeff Pearlman wrote Football for a Buck, and he said something that I think is true. It is reflective of who Donald Trump is as a person. The way that he ran that business into the ground and tried to capitalize off of it and was a sheer opportunist. Sports is certainly a reflection of who this man is. It shows a lot about him. But why were those figures behind him, like Harrison Butker, Triple H, well, he was in front of him, or to the side, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., Bryson DeChambeau, why were they there? Via NBC News, he signed an executive order reviving the National Fitness Test Assessment that began in 1956, and it would conclude in 2013. Of all the folks to administer the tests, it will fall on a man who has a brain worm, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., the Health and Human Services Secretary. The outlet printed. The original presidential fitness test was established under the Eisenhower administration in the 50s and underwent several iterations in the decades to come. Students were generally asked to perform some combination of push-ups, pull-ups, sit-ups, running, and reaching for their toes while seated. Starting in the 60s, those with the highest scores were eligible to receive a Presidential Physical Fitness Award. Congratulations. Furthermore, the Obama administration would replace the fitness tests after the 2012-13 school year with the Presidential Youth Fitness Program, which focused more on individual health rather than athletic prowess, which also tells you a lot. I want to go back to something that's very important here in the context of everything we saw, including that first video. The first is Lawrence Taylor is a sex offender. He had a sex offender at the White House. He hosted a sex offender. Donald Trump invited a literal sex offender to speak to the media and praised him. What are we doing here? Yeah, he was a good football player. You're not gonna see me with a sex offender's album behind me. And if I learned about it, I'd remove it immediately. It's birds of a feather, man. The second part is this. They're talking about like health and fitness and how they make America healthy again. They have Triple H up there who almost died. His heart almost gave out from having so many PEDs in his system. He's the chief content officer who married Vince McMahon's daughter and is well aware of the allegations that have come forward, not just regarding Vince, but also about Linda and what they covered up, including the steroid era. But yeah, let's make America healthy again. Let's do this. The last part is this. Trump wants to bring back a test that is completely outdated because what it'll do, much like RFK, is riddle out those who cannot do some of the tasks, whether it is from a deformity, whether it is from a disability, etc. They don't care. One practice was inclusive that was put forward by the Obama administration, at least more inclusive, and this is completely exclusive.